Okay, so welcome everyone for this guest expert session today. Thank you for being here. Today we have Crystal Young as our expert guest. She's also a coach and energy healer. I love the work that she does around working with neurodivergent folks and has some different specialties that I'll let her get into it. And today she will be sharing with us about how to get into flow, considering exactly these different perspectives, like how we are all different and are going to have different ways to get into flow and teaching some strategies to get there. So I'm very excited about this topic. One thing that Crystal and I were sharing before the meeting started today is I find it very important that we understand this world better. Honestly, like it's not my area of expertise, so I'm grateful Crystal is here for that. But it's an area that I'm always trying to learn more because even if we are not neurodivergent, there are definitely people in our lives who are, whether they know or not, or if we know or not. We may have clients, family, friends, and just being more kind and compassionate and dealing with people in different ways because we are all different. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Crystal. She can give a better introduction of her background and get into it. In regards to questions, feel free to share on the chat. I'm going to be looking into this throughout this session today, and I'll ask Crystal when it's appropriate. And at the time, we're going to have some time for questions as well. So I hope this is good.
hmm
And Crystal, over to you.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much for having me. And it's so nice to meet you, Daniela, Jess, Monica. Thank you for being here live. Um, I'm Crystal, as Julia mentioned, and I am a coach. Julia mentioned I'm also a healer. I have a little bit of like whoop, lift in my body as I hear some of these descriptions. Expert is some of the other things that you said. And I think it's because I really believe that each of us are our own expert and that each of us are our own healer as well. And so I kind of want to put that out there and explore this space today as your space and where you can pull out your expertise and pull out your natural healing abilities. I really believe we heal ourselves. And um, I I don't like to be the expert on it. I can tell there's some resistance there. But anyways, yeah, I would love to guide us through this session in a way that aligns with my coach background. So I ask inquiry questions. Yes, I have some core fundamentals that I will walk through, but as we go through this space, if you're comfortable and you're the authority of this space, I'd love for you just to breathe and feel in your body, be open to the questions and see what pops up in your thoughts, in your sensations in your body. If you get a picture, our brains actually think in pictures quite often. Anything that pops up, really make that an immersive experience. So 90% of your attention, focus on your own body. And if it helps, you can close your eyes, but really experiment with that. And I can see the chest rise and fall. Thank you, Julia, for that deep breath. That will help you connect to all of your senses. So 90% in your body, 10% holding space for each other, open hearts, seeing what comes through, and knowing that your body will respond differently depending on what is said. And that wisdom and how it responds is actually the learning today. So I might come up with 7 factors that benefits of the deep flow state. And then one of them might make you go, and the other might go, oh, yes, that's what's relevant to you. You are the expert. So I'm just one view. And yes, there's a lot of evidence, but you are still the expert. So it's a little bit different how I like to hold my discussions, talks. Okay, beautiful. So to start, I'd love for you to take a breath and remember the time when you said yes to this talk. You might have seen it pop up in your email or socials. Remember back at that time, just bring that moment back. What specifically made you say yes? Take that moment and you can just hold that thought for a moment. Or some people like to write things down. You can do that too. Or if you want to put it in the chat box, whatever feels good, feels easy for you. So I'll explain first how I got here. Um, when I left 17 years of corporate HR in 2016, and I was quite burnt out. I realized when I was pursuing my MBA and I finished the program, my husband said, "Okay, girl, go make the big bucks." And at that moment, I my whole body shut down and it just like ugh, I wanted to throw up. And something inside me said, how the heck did I get here? This is exactly what I don't want to do. And I changed my path. I went to health coaching, life coaching, um, through spiritual teachings of Ho'oponopono. Um, I learned about trauma and addiction. I learned about collective healing through Thomas Hubel, Gabor Mate. I'm a Reiki master as well. All of these practices got me connected to my body rather than my mind, which corporate HR really focused on. And so, how I got here today is learning about the fact that I am a highly sensitive person. I am built differently. I have intense feelings. I have deep thoughts. And I have specific challenges, and also very specific gifts. So, when Julia and I chatted, there was something that connected, and I just really appreciate this opportunity to bring whatever I can to you today, that might serve you. I really feel like there's a reason for us to meet today, and I I'm here for it. I ask Spirit to guide us through that. So, what are you here for? What will you get? What I'd like to go over is by the end of this, I would love for you to understand and really deeply believe that you are made to flow. You are made to be in deep flow state. So, what we'll cover is what is flow for you specifically. It's going to be slightly different for everyone. Why is it worth it? What gets in the way of your flow? How do you set up the conditions to get into that flow state? And we will, at the end, actually experience a guided sort of container where we experience flow state, hopefully. We'll set up the conditions and then we'll just experience it. It's all a test. It's all kind of testing these norms and see how it goes. How does that feel? What did your body respond to? Was there anything that really popped out where you're like, "Ooh, this is what I'm most excited about?" And feel free to put that in the chat window if you'd like, or just hold that. Keep scanning your body and breathing. This tells you sometimes there's this like pulling in or you get the energy lift. That means that's for you. If you get pulled back, that usually means, oh, that's not something that you're that interested in. So we're learning how to read our body through this. Okay. So to start, what I'd love to do is guide you through a visualization so that we can start to understand what does flow mean to you. So, Julia, I feel like you're naturally a breather. That's fantastic. If if you breathe or meditate on a regular basis, this will feel like old hat to you. But if you like feeling guided, feel free to open up your heart space, and that's your heart space here. Sit with a nice tall spine. This helps the breath come in. I'm just going to take a pause. Jess says, as someone with ADHD, flow is very hard for me to access. Thank you for sharing that truth. I just got chills all the way down my left side. Focus is scarce. And when I access it, I feel like I have superpowers. Ooh, I'm getting all these chills. I love that. For me, chills, like, whew, tell me if you follow Louise Hay, she has a book called You Can Heal Your Life. And so I have studied over the last 5 years, what are the chills in my body and what do they mean? And Louise Hay has a map for how to use that. So I got chills in my legs. Legs are like, what is the path you are walking? Yes, I relate to this, Jess. So thank you for that. Monica says, mostly because I've been trying to apply to jobs, but I've had a hard time because of ADHD as well. Thank you so much, Monica, for sharing. I'm so sorry for that hard time. So trying to use all the resources. I love that you are putting yourself out there. That is a journey. You're beautiful. Let's guide in. Take a moment, tall spine, feet on the ground, and just get into this more relaxed state. You may have your own practice, but if you feel like being guided, I'm going to do the 5-5-7. What you want to do is breathe in through your nose for 5 seconds, all the way in, hold for 5, and exhale for 7, almost like you're blowing out of a straw. Beautiful. Do it again. Count in your head. Inhale for 5, hold for 5, and exhale for 7. And again, just count in your head. If you do this 10 times, you'll get into the parasympathetic state. I love this beautiful big breath. 5-5-7. Keep going. You might feel a little lightheaded. That's okay. Scan your body. Notice how this feels as you are breathing. Counting. Inhale for 5. Hold for 5. Exhale for 7. Beautiful. Come back to just a regular breath. You're doing wonderfully. Just make a note to yourself. What part did you enjoy most about that? What are you noticing as a difference in how you're feeling? Okay, now keep your eyes closed, and I'm going to take you through this visualization for the next few minutes. Just let it come. All you're doing is breathing and feeling. Let the images pop up. And if nothing pops up, that's okay too. That tells you something. I'm going to ask a question. I'd love for you to think back to a time where you have felt in the flow, whatever that means for you. You're in this deep state where you've lost track of time. You're in this blissful zone, in the zone. Just lift your hand when you have a moment. Thank you, Julia. No rush, just to acknowledge I've got a moment. Thank you, Daniela. I love that you've got your room darkened as well. Thank you, Jess. Okay, so in that, just let that moment play out for a moment. Notice yourself and how do you look? If you can imagine how you look, if someone were to observe you, what might you look like? Just observe. Notice your facial expression, your body position. Now, imagine you can step into the body, your body in that flow state. You're putting your fingers in her finger slots, your toes into her toe slots. How does it feel to be in flow state? Keep breathing and feeling. Just notice little details. Go a little bit deeper into your psyche and ask, what are you believing about yourself while you're in this flow state? And what are you believing about others? Beautiful. Just let it come easily. What do you love about being in this state? What feels amazing? Okay, wonderful. So now we're just going to take a moment to ease out, come back into this room. You can open your eyes. Ooh, take a breath. What did you notice? What came up for you? If you've got a few words to share, what did you like? What did you believe? What was interesting? You can either go off mute or you can just put it in the chat window. What was flow for you? What was that like?
I can start sharing if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you,
Um,
Julia.
I thought about working in my business in the computer and just being like more forward leaning. And I do have a bit of a serious face when I'm focused, so it doesn't mean like I'm not enjoying if I'm not smiling, but I'm like serious and like into it and getting things done, like writing and putting things down. Um, and there is a certain excitement that I even wonder, like, because that excitement can be almost a little anxiety as well. So I'm like, is it okay to feel this if I'm in flow? Like, should I just, I don't know, is it okay? Um, and what was thinking, like, how does it feel? It's like just very happy that I love what I'm doing. It's like I love this. I'm so lucky I get to do this, and I'm just really enjoying it.
Oh, beautiful. Ooh, I'm getting chills. I resonate with that so deeply. One of the factors of the seven is intrinsic reward. When you're in flow state, it actually is intrinsically rewarding. You don't need the gold star or the outcome or the gift afterwards. It's like it feeds you while you're in it. So thank you for bringing that up. Beautiful. And you touched on a couple other things, but I want to see what else people have to share. Anyone else feel like sharing?
Daniela
I
put on
think
the
I
chat.
can.
Oh, sorry, whoever
Oh,
Oh, go
unmuted,
ahead.
go ahead.
Jess,
That was
yes.
me. As somebody who struggles with focus a lot, and I have a tendency to have all the tabs open and the devices. And so for me, when I'm not in flow state, it's very this, that, like very squirrel syndrome. And I know when I'm in that flow state because it's very much just handling the task at hand. I'm also somebody who's so time conscious. All sense of time goes out the window. I am completely invested in the one thing that I'm doing. I can relate to Julia that I tend to have a serious face. I also, when I'm in flow state, I tend to become unaware of my surroundings. So even my posture, it's maybe not great. I can sometimes get a little hunched or whatever it is because I'm just so focused on the one thing that I'm doing that the awareness of everything else around me becomes non-existent. And it's this beautiful, almost meditative like state, but I'm achieving productivity at the same time. And something else that I thought about is a way that I can really tap into it is actually when I'm moving my body, and I'm very
Mm.
lucky that I have a standing desk and like a walking pad. And so sometimes when I'm really having trouble accessing it, I'm not sitting, I'm actually standing, and I'm actually slowly moving my body while I'm trying to achieve a specific task or goal. And that can really activate things and put my brain in just a much more calm state if I'm moving while I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing.
Oh, so good. So many touch points there. You said, you're not even aware of your surroundings, you're hunching forward. That to me says absorbed focus. You're so focused on that. You said that the time goes out the window. Losing track of time is also indicative of flow state. But yet you're still productive. Multiplied productivity is a huge factor of the flow state as well. Um, I wish I could read my writing here. Hold on. Oh yeah, move body. So, especially for those that are neurodivergent, there's certain levels of neurodivergency and states of neurodivergency where a rhythmic movement, and some people call it stimming, will become very highly regulating. So then you go in from fight flight to ooh, to that deep flow state. So I feel like you're quite mature in your understanding of yourself, which is fantastic. I love all the different tools that you've used. Beautiful. Monica says, or Daniela says, being loved, cared, connected, being seen, fun, calm, relaxed, strong. Oh, feel those words. Can you imagine feeling that on a regular basis with your work? Thank you for sharing that, Daniela. Was there something you wanted to add? You just came off mute. Oh, I can't hear you. Just one sec. Can anyone else hear Daniela? Is that just me? Okay. I wonder if there's a way I would love to hear. Okay, yes, you get the headset. I'm just going to pause for a moment and jump and I'll come back. Monica says, I feel confident, happy that I could keep going for a long time. Yes, there is an endurance that comes. I'm seeing some nodding of heads. I, what brought back for me is sketching. I sketched for 6 hours. I forgot to drink and eat and all these things. I didn't realize it. And then I started getting shaky and I thought, oh, shoot, I haven't eaten. Um, Not necessarily the greatest thing, yet there is something brilliant about tapping into that state. Long time enjoying myself a lot. Yes, intrinsic reward. Effortless action is another thing. Loss of self-consciousness. That's something that hasn't been mentioned, but it's almost innate in that you just go, 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 go. And all the doubts in your head aren't like walking at you, but somehow they're in the back burner because you're immersed. Another thing is that you merge action with awareness. That's a little bit of a mouthy term. So just think about that for a moment. What happens in deep flow state is that instead of being like doubtful and you're like, oh my God, oh, this is in the way, and then you go walk away from it, you're like, oh, this is in the way. How do I do this? And oh, look what I did here. And your awareness all of a sudden merges to action. So then there's more learning and more kind of turnaround. The turnaround time gets shorter, if that makes sense. Losing track of time is huge. Yes. So you have covered pretty much all of these um, states of flow. You have experienced. I want you to go walk away and know that this is innately who we are. We have experienced that already. It is a part of our stoma. It is a part of us. We are now tapping in. What gets in the way? What gets in the way of feeling this more? We're in a state right now with social media, with the speed, productivity demands, with the distractions. Our what is it? Attention span is less than a goldfish now. And so that's not our faults and it is our faults, but it's think about the social media scrolling, media, like all of these things have conditioned our attention to be fast and moving. And so really, in order to get into flow state, what we want to do is counter some of that and have containers and sacred time where we can set up the conditions in this container to nurture the longer focus, the deeper immersion, these states that help us into our most creative places where we are doing incrementally more challenging things. Chishet Mihai, he is one of the big researchers of inflow, and he says that to be in flow state, it's when your ability and the challenge level are close together, where your skill set is needs to stretch a little to get to the level of challenge that you're faced with. So you're constantly kind of bumping up on that challenge level, if that makes sense. And that is how we grow. Okay. Whew. I'm just going to take a breath because I get excited and then my heart starts going and then I start talking too fast. So I remind you to also breathe into your body. Notice if there's certain parts of your body that feel more energy. Keep breathing deeply. Or if there's parts where you can say, "Oh, what are you saying to me?" It's kind of alive in you, and just see what it says. I know these are a little strange, but I really trust in our body's wisdom. Okay. So, how do we set this up so we can enjoy this more? Imagine if you experienced this more, how would your life change? What would you have if the things that were hard in your business or in your personal life became easier? How quickly would you advance? This is what I want to give you is opportunity to make those tangible changes by setting up kind of reverse engineering the conditions to flow. So before we go into that, so you're check on time. Um, just take a breath, close your eyes, and see for you, what are the conditions that got you in that state? What happened before that? See if anything pops up. I love seeing the smiles coming on the face. Isn't it amazing that you can bring back that state? So, what was it for you? Just feel free to unmute yourself, or Danielle, I didn't circle back, but if you have anything else that you'd like to share, feel free. No, okay.
I can share
Mhm.
two things that I noticed. One is having some big blocks of time to do the work. So sometimes the agenda, like today, actually, I had a lot of meetings today, so I wouldn't even have time to flow because I'm like going from one thing to the other and then pausing for something, and I only have like 30-minute break. So I wouldn't have the time. But usually Mondays and Fridays, I don't book any meetings at all, and I do like admin work, but I also would have more time for those moments. And the other thing I notice for me is the time of my cycle. That definitely influences how, yeah, how I can get into that excitement and and do also things that are like, because I'm thinking about writing and things that are in the computer, but of course you can get into flow doing other activities as well. And I guess different moments would be supportive. So just,
Mm,
yeah.
thank you. Beautiful. Blocking off time. So we recommend in our co-working a 3 hour block minimum per week, just to really get immersive in it. Yeah, if we're constantly being interrupted by phone calls and meetings and everything else, we can't fully go into that deep state. However, we can train ourselves to be able to do that in shorter chunks of time over time. Anything else? Well, I want to share, I'm sure there's lots of different ways. Jess, yeah?
I was just gonna say, I know for me, I need to make sure that like physically my needs are met in terms of I can't be hungry, water needs to be accessible to me, I need to use the washroom, I need to have comfortable clothes on. If something's itching me or rubbing me the wrong way, that's going to be a huge distraction. So my physical state is really, really important. And if I try to jump into a flow state knowing that I'm going to be hungry in the next 30 minutes, or if I don't have, if I'm not physically set up to be in that state. So it's really important for me to physically get myself there before I even try to enter it, or else that's going to disrupt that state, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And then in terms of my space, like dim lighting, right now I have my blinds down and letting that sunlight in, but my husband makes fun of me because usually, even if it's the middle of the afternoon and it's sunny, I have them up, and it's usually quite dark in here because that light stimulation can be really overwhelming for me. And then, similar to Julia, making sure that those distractions are limited. If I only have a 45-minute period in between meetings, I'm not finding flow there. It needs to be an extended free period that's limited to distractions, and I need to set myself up with, do not disturb, noise canceling headphones, those type of things, where if I can limit the stimulation around me and physically limit sensations, then that flow state is just much more accessible.
Oh, you're touching on all the things, especially from the neurodivergent lens. Thank you so much, Jess. Yes, so we have specific challenges when it comes to sensory sensitivities. So then creating that state that supports those things, executive functioning, planning is a challenge. And so we want to address that piece as well. Time blindness, especially with ADHD. Um, we want to grow our time awareness. And so these are all things, and there's lots more, but what I'd love to do is give you the exact flow model that we use in our space. And I've put it up here on my window. Um, this is oversimplified, but because we're a group that are constantly debriefing and kind of very self-aware, we keep deepening in our learning as we go through our co-working sessions. So here are some very simple components of how to get into flow state. Setting yourself up for flow is based in this acronym flow. First priority first. What that means is, what's the most important thing? Sometimes it's, in this project, I have to do this first. Other times it means I am so hungry, my stomach will not let me focus. That is the most important thing. And most productivity, time gurus, everything, they are just right in on the task when our body state is not ready. So we need to tune in, not just our minds, but our bodies, our spirits, and really connect. And so that's what we want to do in our space. First priority first. L is let everything else go. Distractions, notifications off, that thing, close the door, whatever it is, music on, etc. Um, oh, get clear on your outcome, whether it be a task or a state, especially with neurodiverse people, our state will often determine how effectively we can get the outcome. So sometimes we need to focus on that state. And then on camera is our accountability, gentle accountability. When we have this energetic space with that intention, it is incredible what can get done. Dr. Elaine Aron, she's a highly sensitive person, researcher. She is kind of in the 90s brought it out. She says that when two highly sensitive people stand in front of each other, they can say nothing, but their nervous systems can recognize each other. And all of a sudden, they go into parasympathetic. How crazy is that? So there is a subconscious strength in being with like kind. And even those that are neurotypical find it very regulating to be in space when you're co-regulating together, if that makes sense. So being on camera, being in shared space, and then at the end of the hour, we reflect on what are the wins and what are the wisdoms. So when we report on the progress, more progress happens. When we report on what we learned, we start to clue in to what are the best practices that make us flow, make us super effective. Okay, so I'd like to try that with you now. I think what we'll do is we'll go 15 minutes of practice rather than 20, just so we can have a little bit of time to debrief. Is, oh, let's come back into our bodies. I get excited and then I start to talk fast again. So I'm going to chill that out. Feel into your body, and almost as if you're asking all of your cells What is something you'd love to get done that can get done in maybe about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes? Just something that's like, oh, this is like, I got to clean out this little corner, or oh, I just want to write out this plan for tomorrow, or whatever that is. What is something you would just love to get done? Let's just tune in. Mm. And how will you know when you are completed it? What's your check offable outcome? Maybe it's a state. Maybe there's something that you want to experience, and then you'll let your state guide you. That's okay too. But we'll share an outcome, and it could be just tiny. This is just for practice, and we'll put it in the chat window. Something that's just calling out to you. What is that for you?
Sorry, what is the question?
What is the check offable outcome that we would like to complete in the next 10 to 15 minutes? I'm going to share mine. And how do you want to feel while you do this? So I put that in the chat window. Thank you, Jess. Schedule my contact for the rest of the week. It's already designed and written, just needs to be scheduled. Beautiful. I like that it's check offable. You'll know when it's done. Feel focused. And if anyone else has anything else, feel free to put it in the chat window. What this does is give your brain a reminder. So that as you're getting distracted, you feel like, oh, what was I working on again? And you've got that reminder. Beautiful. Oh, I love it. Contact next post, writing and sharing a post. Okay, yeah. This is just experiment. Be curious, no judgment. Write a letter to a friend that I've, yeah, avoidance to do and have lots of emotions. Ooh, good one. Hard things are easier to do with people, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to set my timer. We're going to go for 15 minutes. And remember, we're going to let everything else go. I'm turning off my notifications. Stuck in airplane mode. Door is closed. Hmm. Beautiful. Take a moment to feel into your body. This is important. Is there anything it's asking for? Yes, water. Sitting up straighter. Okay.
Can
Take a
I
deep
say
breath.
Can I say
Yeah,
something, Crystal, about letting
yeah,
go? I just want to congratulate everyone here today for actually being present because so many times we sign up for webinars and then we are doing 1,000 things and we just have that voice in the background, and in the end, we have no idea what happened. We did a poor job on whatever we were trying to do, and nothing gets well done, right? We didn't learn what we wanted to learn and we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, but everyone
yes.
is participating, sharing on the chat, or like, we can see we are fully present, and that means a lot in.
Yeah. Thank you, Julia, for that
Mm.
love. Absolutely. It's amazing. I feel that engagement as well. It's so wonderful. And I kind of don't leave you alone because I keep asking you questions. So, but thank you for responding. So um, yeah, just feel into your body and then bring in the state. What does it feel like to be confident and excited, to be focused? Bring that in and then ease in. And we'll see you back here in 15. I'm going to bring you back with a bit of music and then we'll do a debrief. Enjoy. Do a scan of the body and just notice how you feel. What went well? What are your wins? What got done? See what pops up that we can celebrate with you. Keep breathing and feeling. Also ask yourself, what did you learn about yourself? What was interesting? And if it feels good, I'd love to hear how it went. How did it feel? What did you learn? What was interesting? Great job, Julia. You're done. That was quick. Awesome. Jess, you're done. Something I planned to spend an hour doing actually only took 15 minutes without distractions. Freaking love that. Yeah, what surprised you? What else did you, what else is interesting? And if you didn't get it done, that's okay. I'd love for you to practice curiosity over judgment. That's what happened was exactly what was meant to be. It's here to teach us. It's a data point. So with compassion, we open our hearts and say, ah, what are we learning? What am I learning about myself? And I tell you, with this practice, over and over and over, I've done this for 10 cohorts now, 30-day journeys, 10 30-day journeys. You just build compassion, you build curiosity, you learn things about yourself that you were never able to learn because you were too busy judging yourself. So great job in your completion. I hope that served you. The last piece is just so that I can give you the full picture is I'm going to put this in the chat window is that's information on the co-working program. Monica says I had been avoiding it because I thought I didn't have the right words up knowing I had this time blocked. I was able to finish. Amazing. Congratulations, Monica. Yeah, there's all these little doubts. And then when you like have this block and it's like you've got this commitment, it's incredible what comes through. Yes, thank you. And this was just 15 minutes. It's very different when you start to extend that. And it's super exciting because the things that got hard, what once felt hard is easy and habitual. People are like, what turned from, I'm reading quotes now, I can't do that, turned into, oh, I know I can learn how to do that. Another person said, oh, I can let this go now because I've spent the time, I've put in the time, and now I can just be with my daughter. And I know I'm going to show up tomorrow and I'm going to do it again because we have it every day. We show up for each other. So to get this to really work completely, you can create this program yourself. Set this up so that this can happen, or come and join us, hop on. I've put the link there. And we are just a community of people that we work hard. We tend to be quite aware. We learn things from each other. And it's hard to explain, deeply energetic healing at the same time. So create this on your own or come and join us. I would just love to reinforce that you are meant to be in flow more and more. So Julia, I went right up until the end. I'm so sorry I didn't give you any time to wrap up, but if anyone has questions, definitely reach out. Is there anything else you want to add, Julia?
Thank you, Crystal. This was a really great session. Thank you so much.
You're
Can you
welcome.
just share a little bit more about this group you have? So, like, how often do you meet? So it's online, I'm guessing, for how long?
Yeah. So 30-day journey, May 26th to June 26th is the next cohort. There's 18 or more hours each week of co-working so that you can fit it in. I recommend only join if you have at least a 3 hour block in the week, because then you can really experience the deep flow. It's $111. But for those that show up here or listen to the recording, by the end of today, if you want to sign up with alumni 30, that um, coupon code, you can get 30% off. And yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Jess, for the feedback. Amazing being here. Oh, yay. Thank you. Thank you. Um, it's read the information on the page. There's all these video testimonials. And it's just super great. If you feel the vibe, really, if you feel it, then lean into it. If it's something's off, trust that. You're not meant to be in this group then. But I really trust it. But take some of the principles and apply it to your life so that it can serve you. Because we're all meant to flow.
Love it. And it's a nice opportunity to like, because here we practice in 15 minutes, but I guess in the group you can just practice for a month and then really take it to life, like, because now you learn.
Yeah. Yeah, we do it each hour, 5 minutes preamble, 50 minutes of working, and 5 minutes of debrief each hour.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I know we are at time, but if anyone has any questions or any comments, like feel free to unmute yourselves.
Yeah, I can hang out a little bit longer. So,
And if you gotta go, that's totally fine. So just want to give a moment. Okay. Seems everyone is good. So again, thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you everyone for showing up, for doing the exercises, for being present here, because I think it was very valuable what we learned. And have a great
good.
rest of your week, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your energy. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.